10 most important pads when detailing a boat.
Welcome to Marine Detail Supply, setting the standard for the marine detailing industry. We set the standard.
Hey, what's going on? It is Captain Ken here from Marine Detail Supply Company. What we're going to cover today is 10 most important pads for a detailer to have when detailing a boat. Quite simply, everything all starts with using a white wool pad. Tried and true. It's going to give you the most cut. And generally, the question we get asked is, what do you use with a white wool pad? You're going to use your most aggressive heavy cut compound, whatever it is, to remove oxidation. The one that we suggest all of you to give a shot, if you haven't tried it yet, is Level R here by STARKE. It likes to remove scratches from 600 to 800 grit and really finishes down to a fine gloss over any other heavy cut compounds that we found. And now, if you also pay attention, this is actually a double-sided pad. Why I would suggest those of you out there, if you have access to a double-sided pad, is to use those. One, it's essentially two pads in one. And also, you can get your machine in areas that you just simply can't get with a single-sided pad. Now, the pad of choice for me is this STARKE double-sided pad, and the reason for that is this one actually has a quick connect in the center of it. So basically there's like a tool, you're able to attach it and take it off, flip the pad over in a matter of seconds versus what we're all used to. Like, you don't have access to the quick connect pad, this Lake Country one would be the one I would suggest for you to use, but this has the old spin-on style that you need a wrench to get it on and off with. There's other brands too, like Buff and Shine, a little bit more budget friendly, but the durability wise, these two pads are going to last the longest. Again, I'm going to choose the STARKE one over the regular Lake Country just for the quick connect feature. Now next, we're going to move into STARKE's Elevate. And there's a lot of pads and a lot of combinations that you can use for this. And it really depends on the situation. If I'm going after a dark color gel coat that's out there, I'm always going to use white wool with a heavy cut to remove the oxidation or remove those sanding scratches, because dark colors really show imperfections. I want that ultra refinement, okay? And I'm going to go back to a rotary with Elevate on a yellow wool pad. Now this pad is super versatile too. So if you don't have, really bad oxidation, but you really want to gem up a gel-coated surface, this pad with a medium cut compound running in at more like a 1800 to 2200 speed is amazing. A high gloss, it removes pigtails, scratches. And if you don't have this pad in your arsenal in a detailer, you're really missing out. A specialty pad that I really like to use Elevate with too, and really if I'm doing edge work, right? I honestly feel that a rotary machine, it's going to give you the most precision when you're doing edge work. This hybrid purple wool pad by Lake Country, if you haven't tried this one, this thing will just change the game. Especially on, like, I really like to use it on like the top cap of the tow rail edges, and this will polish out like white gel coat like so fast and such a luster, it's amazing. Now you can use this pad as well as an automotive paint. I've used it on automotive paint and it works really well, but I find it to be the best on a rotary machine on gel coat. But this one really gems that surface out really well, and almost to the point where you won't even see swirl marks, or should I say holograms, made by the rotary machine, okay? The next pad I would suggest, I really love this pad, even in automotive. If you've never used a 21, a RUPES LHR 21, which I think for me is definitely a game changer when it comes to machines, no matter if you're in the marine world or the automotive world, okay? I can literally use this wool finishing pad with a medium cut compound, okay, on a RUPES LHR 21 and remove 1,000 grit sanding scratches. That's how aggressive this is. That's how well it cuts. If you're looking for a really aggressive pad, this is the way to go for sure when it comes to your random orbital machines, okay? Again, I like to use that with Elevate. Again, we're gonna still say on the medium cut aspect, if you don't need to go as aggressive as this RUPES wool pad, is a Lake Country SDO Blue. Where I think this pad really excels is on your lighter color gel coat pigments, okay? Generally, again, you're going to start on a heavy cut compound on a white wool. Now, the cool part is if you have a lighter pigment, most of us encounter white, right, on a top cap or even hull sides, or light blue or light grays. This, with a medium cut compound, will remove those holograms from the rotary machine and finish out really well. You can stop after this and move right into sealant, okay? If you don't need to go as aggressive as the blue, which I really prefer blue on white color gel coat, the next best thing is an orange, okay? Now the orange SDO pad is a little bit less aggressive on cut as the blue and has a little bit more polishing. So if we're looking at a little bit more aggressive, a little least aggressive. A test spot's gonna really determine what's gonna work best. As a marine detailer out there, if you don't have blue foam and orange foam in your toolbox, now's the time to put it in, okay? Next, we're gonna move into more of the ultimate refinement, right? So where you're going to your fine polish or your finishing polish, whether it's STARKE's Ignition, which I really love this when I'm working with dark color gel coats. Again, this is going to be the compound that I'm going to generally finish with before I move into sealant, whether it's a polymer base or ceramic based type sealant. And my pad of choice when I'm using this is either the Lake Country CCS pad, and you can tell a good tip out there for those of you that are wondering how aggressive a pad is. A good rule of thumb, regardless of the manufacturer, is to squeeze it. The more dense it is, the more cut, the softer it is, the least amount of cut that pad is actually going to have. So it's a good rule of thumb for you to, if you don't understand how colors actually work, you can actually feel it, right? So again, pad of choice with Ignition is generally the all black CCS pad with STARKE's Ignition. All right, the next pad I'm gonna talk about, honestly, the #1 pad for me on the market in the last year in the marine industry, especially when it comes to refinement. Your last step or really enhancing the gloss of your gel coat is this RUPES yellow wool hybrid pad, okay? I have tested this pad amongst Lake Country Blue, Lake Country Orange, Lake Country Black. Lake Country makes a white that's super refinement. RUPES also makes a white ultra foam. They also make a yellow foam pad. And this hybrid wool pad breaks the gloss meter over the rest of them every single time. 102, 104, 106 on gel coats that are upwards of 10 years old, just going through Levelar white wool, Rotary, Elevate, yellow wool, Rotary, and then finish him with STARKE's Triple P on this one. Triple P on this pad is the best combination I've found. Now, granted, you can also use Ignition. I've used Ignition with it and got amazing results. I've also used Elevate with it and got amazing results. Well, I'll get the cut of Elevate, so it'll get a little bit more aggressive, but just because I use this pad and a RUPES LHR 21, which is a long throw machine, I simply get a finish that's just unbeatable. So again, do not sleep on this pad. By far, complete game changer in the last year or so in the marine industry. Technology's changing, everybody. You need to change with it. Last but not least, we're gonna get into pads that you would use a sealant with. If you're not going into a ceramic-based sealant out there, you're gonna stay with more your traditional wax or a polymer base sealant. Two pads that I choose. My first pad, first and foremost, that a lot of people like to use is the Lake Country red foam pad, okay? And you can tell by touching it, it's super soft, not aggressive, it's not gonna have a lot of cut, okay? Because when you're applying sealant, you don't want any cut, right? We're just literally applying a sealant and then taking the sealant off, and then the job is complete. If you ask me, my favorite pad in the last, year or so when it comes to applying sealant is actually Buff and Shine's all black microfiber pad. So you would ask me a question, why would I choose this pad over this pad, right? Even though this one does well. The only difference I could really tell you is because it is a microfiber and you're using a polymer like Hyperholt Pro to seal it, okay? When you apply it on the surface, a good rule of thumb is you want to put it on as thin as you can, right? There's no sense of putting a thick layer of polymer on there because it's not going to make it more durable. All it's going to do for you is make it harder for you to remove when you go to take it off. If you use this pad, okay, you're going to use not as much product. And the reason for that, it's not going to soak in and absorb into the foam. It's actually going to sit on this top layer of the microfiber pad, okay? Which means it's going to save you money. It's going to save you time. It's going to make it a lot easier for you to remove your polymer sealant, okay? So that is the top 10 pads that I would suggest any marine detailer to have in their arsenal. Again, if you have any questions at all, please reach out to us on our social media platforms. And if you're looking for links to these pads, they will be linked down in the description below. And with that being said, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, as we're gonna have more review videos like this coming along, and we appreciate everyone out there.
Make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and comment on our content. We encourage engagement and debate. Be on the lookout for more product reviews, tutorials, and interviews just like this. Follow us on social media for free giveaways weekly. See you next time.